Hey everyone, this is Britt with Integrative PT. And I want to go through some stretches for gardeners. And so this will help just with maintaining the range of motion in the joints, and especially in those muscles that I see get used a lot for my people that love to work in gardens. So remember, each one of these stretches, they should not be painful. It may be okay to feel like, man, that's really tight, but it shouldn't be something that you feel is very painful, nor should it feel tighter or more painful when you get done with the stretch. That may be an indication that you pushed it a little bit too hard. And if you feel that any of these, it's just hard to get into these positions, just lay off of it. I'll show you a couple of options for some of them that you may have difficulty with getting in the position. Finally, for each of these stretches, we're looking to hold them for about 30 seconds. So try these, see if they work for you. First one, we're gonna do starting in sitting. So we're gonna stretch the legs. We're gonna start with our hamstring muscles. So we're gonna straighten one leg out. I've got my knee almost fully straight. I wanna keep my shoulders pulled back and gonna lean forward. And this is my hamstring stretch. So I should feel this somewhere along the back of my thigh. Holding there, we want to make sure the shoulders stay pulled back and we're not flopping over there, feeling that stretch. And we'll do that with each leg for 30 seconds. The next stretch we've got is what's called our glute stretch. So if you have the ability, we're gonna sit, prop an ankle up on to your other knee. We want to rest your hands on the knee and on the leg, kind of holding it on. Sit up straight and slowly lean forward. So we're looking to feel this stretch in the back of the leg or the buttocks of the leg we've got bent up. So again, going for 30 seconds, doing it once with each leg. The next stretch we're gonna go into is what we would call the piriformis stretch. So same thing, same position, but this time we wanna grab hold of the knee. We're gonna pull it towards your opposite shoulder, and also looking to feel that stretch in the back of the leg, back of the buttocks, there, holding for about 30 seconds. From that one, if we're saying, well, it's hard for me to prop my legs up in that way, I'm gonna go down to the floor. You could do this on the ground or you could do it in your bed. But if it's hard to get your ankle propped up, then we can lie down where the knee is not bent as high. Try propping your ankle on the opposite knee. And we could then just try sliding that leg back towards you. Or to show you the other way, we prop the foot up, slide the leg back towards you until you feel that stretch in the back of the leg that's bent. And in the same fashion, we could then grab hold of that knee and try pulling it towards your opposite shoulder. That gets into that piriformis stretch. And holding that, again, feeling that in the back of the hip, back of the buttocks. So that's another option if it's hard for you to sit and get your leg propped up or your ankle propped up on your knee. So while we're in this position, again, you could do this on the ground or on the bed. We're gonna roll over onto your hands and knees if you're comfortable doing so. And to start working on your mid-back, we're gonna do the cat and camel stretch. So we're just letting our back sink towards the ground, then rounding up. And I'm just going back and forth for about 30 seconds. And as I round up, I'm trying to breathe out. As I sink down, I'm trying to breathe in. So back and forth for 30 seconds. From there, we can try sinking back into child's pose to try to stretch out the lower back, try to help with hip motion. Got my arms out in front of me, or if that's not comfortable, you can pull them in a little closer. I'm gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds, and then you could curve your arms over to the sides. That's gonna get a little more stretch on my right side. If I curve over to the over to the right side, then that's gonna stretch more down my left. So we can then come all the way down to our stomach. Again, as long as you're comfortable doing this, I want to let my low back and my hips be as relaxed as possible, and just starting to press my chest up off the ground and back down. So I'm going back and forth. I'm not really holding this position unless you want to, but going back and forth for about 30 seconds here. And again, you may do this in your bed. You don't have to get to the ground if it's too hard to get up and down from the ground. Coming back up, We can do the next ones in standing. So we're gonna start first with our side. So either resting a hand on your side, or if you had a countertop or furniture, you may do the same. We're gonna raise one arm up and lean over, and I'm trying to stretch just down my side. I'm gonna hold about 5 seconds or so, and then switch to the other side. Trying to feel that anywhere from your hip up to your shoulder. And I just alternate every 5 seconds or so for a total of 30 seconds, switching sides. The next ones, while we're standing here, we're gonna come into your wrists. You're using your hands a whole lot. We wanna make sure our wrist and forearm muscles are stretched out. So I'm gonna keep my elbows straight. I wanna grab around the base of my fingers, and I'm gonna pull that hand back until I feel this stretch across my forearm. Holding for about 30 seconds, and then we'll switch and do the other hand. And again, we want to grab around the base of the fingers, not the tips. From there, we can flip it over, palm facing downwards. I'm going to grab around the thumb side of my hand and pull down, looking to feel a stretch across the top of the forearm. So doing each one for 30 seconds here. And then finally, while we're standing, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna come over. I'm gonna stretch my calf muscles out. So several ways to do this, but in case we don't have any step or anything, you can do it from the ground. You may rest your hands on a wall. I'm gonna use the rig here for this. To stretch my left calf, I'm gonna put that leg back behind me. I wanna keep my knees straight and my heel on the ground. It's okay if your front leg bends. And then I'm gonna lean forward, feeling that stretch in the back of the calf. So be sure you keep your heel on the ground, you keep your knees straight on the back leg, and you want your toes to be facing forward. Front leg, do whatever you want. So hold 30 seconds, and then we'll switch, doing the same way. So there's your stretching for gardeners. Obviously, it's not gonna get everything, but it is gonna get the majority of muscles that I see a lot of my gardeners having problems with.